Which A Realm Reborn dungeon would you say is now your favorite, and which do you never want to see ever again?
I hate all of them. I have a bias in that as well, that Aurum Vale needs to be deleted from this video game. Because another video I did at some point was speedrunning a dungeon. I'm running past the second boss, and it is completely RNG.
Yeah.
If the spiders after that second boss are turned away from me, I get a world record. If those spiders are facing towards me, the run is over. And they never face away. They never face away. And so, Aurum Vale can please not exist anymore. And for enjoyable dungeons, either Zemail Darkhold.
Oh, I thought you were gonna blow my mind and say Brave Flux Longstop.
Oh no, please. Good.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chocobo Radio, episode number 27. Today, we have a very, very, very special guest, Rath Games. For people who don't know who you are, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Wow, hello. I'm the funny Final Fantasy XIV solo challenge man, I guess. I'm playing the whole game on my own without market board, without trading, with no quest rewards and all that jazz. And I'm also the Limsa guy, so I did the whole character without living Limsa. That was a fun time. That was pretty good. Hello.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we have a very good show today. There's a lot to talk about today, and I think where I want to start is with the news. The benchmark for Dawntrail came out, what was it, last week? And has already made some headlines because Yoshi P has already apologized for some of the benchmark, but has also told us that we are now getting a second benchmark for Dawntrail. So I think I want to start there, and I want to ask you, what do you think of the graphics update so far? Have you used the benchmark, and what are your thoughts on it so far?
I did check out how Solo looked in the benchmark, and it's pretty good. It's makes him look very nice and tired, which is what I was going for. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But I like it overall. I know a few people weren't particularly happy with it, and I can understand why. But it's really just like Yoshi P said, a lot of it was just due to we got the character creator for it, but we did not get any of the new other systems to update us from what 2.0 looked like. So
yeah, so
kind of got a lot of the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, a lot of it just kind of clashed. If like for those of you who weren't like up to date, but I was watching a video from Etheria, whose video on the benchmark kind of blew up over the week, and she mentioned that she was disappointed because she is very attached to her character, and I see this a lot on Twitter where people they give the Warrior of Light's backstories. They have these likes and interests. I know that a lot of people in this game really get into like the role-playing aspect of the game, and I was curious, like, do you have that same connection to your Warrior of Light? Because to be honest, I really don't. Maybe I just haven't spent enough time in this game, but I never really had that connection to my Warrior of Light. But I'm just curious, like, as to how you see this whole discussion.
I mean, I have a pretty big attachment to my main, Xanther, but I feel like that just comes with... Xanther has been the character I've used for everything. So he just got added into Final Fantasy XIV when I started playing.
Yeah.
But for Solo as well, I've got a huge bit of attachment to this funny little guy because it's... I've spent a year of my life with him.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty hard stuck. He's very much a part of me at this point.
That's true. That is very true. So I think this is actually a good segue. So How did you get introduced to 14? Like, why did you start playing this silly game with cat girls, and why did you start playing this anime MMO?
I really like MMOs. It's basically the only thing I play a bunch of other games, but like MMOs are my mainstay.
Yeah.
I'm always playing at least an MMO, even if it's not actively. For the majority of my life. When I was younger, those mostly involved any MMO that had a marriage system that I played for about 5 seconds and then gave up on.
Of course.
But past that, it's just... I think I started on Final Fantasy XIV. My sister used to play when it was actually 2.2, I think, is the update that she started playing with.
Yeah.
And I saw it briefly then. And how many years ago was it now?
8?
I think maybe? 2017.
Wow.
2017, 2018. Yeah. They did the Twitch promotion thing where you could get 30 days of, or you could get like the free playtime and all that jazz. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll try it. And then it just kind of stuck.
Wow. Okay. So, the question that I ask every single one of my guests is, what did you think of A Realm Reborn? And, when I was making the show notes for this podcast, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, you are the perfect person to ask this question, because you have spent almost, the last year of your life playing through A Realm Reborn. So I think my question to you is, what did you think of A Realm Reborn during your first playthrough?
For my first playthrough, I will openly admit I came into this MMO expecting it to be another MMO. I expected it to be an arcade. I expected it to be a RuneScape where I just hit the spacebar and skip all the dialogue. So I just skipped cutscenes and then I didn't really care. It was a great time. There were some bits I would normally stop for voiced cutscenes, but for anything aside from voiced cutscenes, I would just kind of skip through. Yeah. So I kind of enjoyed A Realm Reborn for the majority of it. There was some things that I wasn't absolutely in love with, but that was mostly just for how late that I was to playing the game. Like, I got to the point where we unlocked the EXs with Ifrit and Garuda and Titan, and I wanted to go do them. Yeah. But nobody was doing them aside from Unsynced anymore. So,
Yeah, that's how I felt as well, because I didn't start playing this game until right before Endwalker launched. Like, I started playing this game during the lockdowns. So I get that. I have that same feeling, because every single EX trial, every raid from either Coils to Alexander, I never actually got to do those synced, because no one would actually do them. So it is a little bit of a shame, and I think that's one of the issues that I feel like a lot of newer players, especially Sprouts, have to go through when they're playing this game. But we'll get into that later. So after a year, doing all of these solo videos, would you say, do you have like a newfound appreciation for A Realm Reborn, or do you still kind of have those same feelings as how you did when you first played through it?
I don't know if I would say a newfound appreciation, maybe a newfound trauma. Right. But getting to go through and experience every little tiny bit of A Realm Reborn and forcing myself to do it to be able to progress really gave me a perspective on just how much love and work has gone into this game. I love all of the systems that they had. Some of the systems I kind of wish they still had, but it's kind of better that they don't have elemental resistances anymore. It would have been great for Titan, but you know what? Dye pigment is fine too.
Yeah. What aspect of 14 would you say you enjoy the most? Is it the MSQ aspect of it? Is it the raiding, the PvP, the gathering? What do you like doing the most?
So, shock and horror, I hate gathering and I hate crafting.
Right.
You could not, on my main, you could not pay me money to do it. Like, it's just not happening. But I suppose raiding is probably my main jam.
Mm-hmm.
It's very fun to piece yourself bit by bit through a fight and eventually get to a clear of it. It's very nice, very gratifying.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Um, we do have Dawntrail coming out right around the corner this summer, and I'm just curious as to what are your general thoughts on this upcoming expansion? Are you excited for it? Are you sort of doom and gloom about it, like most of the internet is apparently?
I
How
want
do
my
you see
beach
it?
episode.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I'm very happy. Anything that just lets me relax on a beach and to have some fun little competitions with my buddies
Yeah.
as the main storyline, I'm super down for.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be great.
Yeah, and so one of the things that I like, the comment that I see a lot, especially like on Reddit, is this idea that people don't really want to see the Scions in Dawntrail, or they don't want them to have a big part in Dawntrail. How do you feel about that? How much of an integral part do you want the Scions to play in Dawntrail?
I don't really. I would say I don't really care, but maybe that's a bit too harsh. I don't mind either way.
Yeah.
I am at a point where I enjoy the story and the characters I've been given up to now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to enjoy the story and the characters that I get in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just kind of hands off the wheel, like, you know what, whatever you want to do, man.
Yeah, no, I think I'm kind of right there with you. It's like we spend so much time with these characters. It'll feel empty if they aren't there. But at the same time, I think for me, I kind of want to see other interesting characters in the game, because I feel like when it comes down to it, the Warrior of Light is pretty much the only one that's actually doing anything. Ishtola comes around and she does have some good ideas, especially in like throughout the entire post patch of Endwalker. It seemed like Ishtola was the one who was always progressing the story and giving us direction of how to go through it. But I think I don't know, like for a while now I've been wanting to see other characters that have the Echo introduced into the story, and I think that could be interesting, where we could see I guess I just want to see other strong characters play a part in the main story, where it's just not us, not our main Warrior of Light that's basically saving the world over and over again. But
I'm fully down at the moment to just not have a world-ending expansion.
Yeah,
that's why I'm so excited for Dawntrail.
Mm-hmm.
Having the stakes be me and my buddies are being idiots and we're just having a fun little competition, that's great.
Yeah.
Taking a step back from that world end stakes we've had for the past 2 or 3 expansions will probably be a good step towards it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think one of the things that I always hear about this game is this idea that the MSQ is too long, it's too easy, it's too brain dead. I'm just wondering, like, how do you see the MSQ in this game? Do you agree? Do you agree that it's too long? Should they cut some stuff out? How do you see it?
I think it's good as is. I mean, it's something to be taken on over a large period of time.
Yeah.
From somebody who's played MMOs their whole life, it's the same as me doing all of my questing and stuff in RuneScape and getting my levels up to be at endgame. It's gonna take me a good few hundred hours to get there, no matter what MMO you're playing. Unless you pay the money, and some MMOs won't even let you pay the money to get to that. It'll be, you're always going to take a long time to get to that end game, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and I mean, Yoshi P has already said that we are getting 10 more years of content. But I feel like a lot of the community is split on whether or not there should be like a new starting point for new players, for new sprouts. So I'm just wondering, Do you agree with that? You know, should a new player in like 2026, 2 years from now, should they have to go through all of A Realm Reborn, through all of Endwalker before they can get to their 8.0, 9.0 MSQ? Or do you think it's time to maybe give everybody a new start if they want to?
I think it might be nice to break it up into chunks, into major story arcs. I mean, A Realm Reborn to Endwalker, it doesn't feel right to skip any of that
Yeah.
if you're doing any of it.
Yeah.
But if Dawntrail is giving us a brand new story, maybe from Dawntrail would be a good start point, or wherever the next arc really begins.
That's true.
That could be nice.
Yeah, like I doubt this will ever happen, but I do kind of wish they can just take all of Realm Reborn through all of Endwalker, go back into it, and sort of either remake or remaster it, where they just go back and you know, upgrade all of the dungeons, all of the trials. I know that would never happen because, you know, there's so much like red tape and money issues with developing an MMO. But I feel like if they had infinite amounts of money, infinite time in the world, I think that would be something that I would really enjoy.
We can always dream.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of I guess my next question for you is has to do with glam. So I was reading some comments the other day, and people were talking about how they don't enjoy having modern looking glams in this game. And I'm just wondering, how do you feel about that? Because, you know, we have, like, for example, the school uniforms, the Fall Guy sweater. We have a lot of these modern looking clothing in this game, but a lot of people seem to complain about that, and I'm just wondering, like, how do you see that?
I mean, I went to the moon.
Right.
They take me to the moon.
Yeah.
I breathe underwater. Why is having a baseball hat so crazy? Like, I don't know. Just let them have it. If people want it, I don't see why it's a problem.
Yeah.
I'm happy to just let people have whatever glams make them happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I couldn't have said it better myself. I could not. So with Endwalker now pretty much over, what were your general thoughts on the expansion? Did you like it?
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a masterpiece. It was a very, very emotional story.
Mm-hmm.
I got everything that I wanted out of it, and I was pretty satisfied overall.
Yeah, me too. I will say one of the things that people did complain about was this relic grind, or I guess the lack of a relic grind in Endwalker. Did you mind that at all?
I feel like the concept of complaining about not having to grind 10 or so hours to get something is kind of bonkers to me, but I do get it. I understand that it's not so much the grind for the relics that people wanted, but the things that came with it. So the Eureka and the Bajjas were really, really fun, and I think if we had gotten that and the relic weapons still ended up being the same way, I don't think as many people would have complained.
That is true. I think you're completely right on that. Yeah. Do you have a favorite battle or like a favorite fight in this game, whether it's like a trial, a dungeon boss? Do you have like a favorite battle in the game?
I'm very biased towards solo because doing the fights on solo has just been a completely different experience from playing the game normally.
Yeah.
Nothing even slightly compares to it anymore. So with that in mind, it's definitely Ravana. Ravana was just the most incredible blow for blow fight I've ever played in almost any game in my life. It's very much top 10 fights ever for me.
Yeah. I really I really liked the Shinryu fight, the Extreme Trial of Shinryu.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm a little biased because I think that was like the first Extreme Trial that I actually did synced with like with a party, and that was like the first one that I actually learned how the mechanics work, and I looked at a guide. So I may be biased, but I really did like that fight. I also like Rauger in Agalia because when he just punches, like he creates two portals and he just punches like the almost like the entire field. There's just something so satisfying about that.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah,
We do love all of the Aglaya fights.
yeah. It's pretty good. So you brought up solo, and I did want to talk to you a little bit about that whole series because um your YouTube channel pretty much blew up within a couple months, and I was shocked at how quickly everything kind of just came together. But I think I want to ask, where did the idea of even starting this like solo experience even come from?
RuneScape.
Hmm.
RuneScape has a lot of, especially old school RuneScape, has a lot of what we lovingly call Snowflake Ironman,
Hmm.
which is there are so many unique, different ways that people play that game and challenge themselves to go through it
Yeah.
that there's you could genuinely just code a house in snow with them. It's
Hmm.
crazy and it's a lot of fun, and it's amazing to watch the stories of those people going through and completing whatever barriers they have in front of them. And
Yeah.
I saw the general Iron Man game mode, and I've always kind of liked that idea. And I
Mm.
figured, you know what? That could be pretty fun for Final Fantasy. We'll see how it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah. How did you like I'm curious about the editing process on that video because you must have had, hundreds of hours of raw video to like put together to edit together. What was that like, that editing process for those videos like?
Hold on, let me just get a plate time real quick.
Sure.
So solo currently is at 17 days and 16 hours.
Well, okay.
Uh, so I'm at 424 hours on solo. Every single one of those
Great.
hours is recorded for footage that we go through.
Whoa.
Uh, Towards the very beginning, it was just you sit down and you sift through it, and good luck,
Mhm.
forehead. Recently, I've had a lot of help from one of my dear mods,
Mm.
Kenrella. She normally marks things down with like some timestamps for me to make it a bit easier to keep track of where things are going.
That's helpful.
But it's a big undertaking.
Yeah.
It normally, I think I average for every hour of footage, it's like 20 to 25 minutes to get through it fully, unless it's an actual important fight segment or something like that where I have to really break it down bit by bit. And
Yeah.
then it could take like 3 to 4 hours just to get through a 20-minute section. So
Hmm.
it
Do
depends. It's a bit crazy.
Do you still have the raw footage of those videos? Because I found that whenever I finish making a video and I upload it, I just delete all of the raw footage. Do you still have that, or is it just completely gone?
I keep an archive of, normally I like to do 3 or 4 videos back where
Hmm.
I'll keep the footage. But it's, I think in total I record in 4K.
Hmm.
So it's the current video that I'm working on this exact second
Yeah.
is 56 hours, and it
Oh.
takes up, I think, almost 2 full terabytes of
Oh
storage.
my god.
So recently I think I have up to the start of Heaven's Word
Hmm.
archived,
Wow.
but anything back in her own Reborn is gone.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, you are about to hit 27K subs on YouTube, and I'm curious, how does that feel for you?
I don't know. um it was, I've said it every once in a while with my stream chat, but it was a very big dream of mine my whole life to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
So having the number go up has been very gratifying, very humbling, and very wonderful.
Yeah.
It's also a little bit scary
Mm.
because I feel like I always felt like this. So I won't say it's because of the number go up, but it does really feel like I do constantly have to improve on everything that I do.
Of course.
But I almost like that.
Mm.
It's nice to have that pressure because then I actually do it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I was going through your channel, and 4 years ago, you made a video thanking your fans for 11,000 views on your YouTube, and you talked about how ridiculous it seemed at the time. Now, according to Social Blade, you're averaging about 8K views a day and about 200K views a month. And I guess like my question is, has it set in that you are essentially a YouTuber, a content creator? Like, do you consider yourself that?
There was a while when it hadn't. And I remember very distinctly, probably like around the time that the video where I fought the Ultima Weapon and beat that, I think that was just about when we hit 10K, maybe 15K.
Well,
I can't remember.
yeah.
It's been a long time. But that was the moment for me when it was like, this isn't a joke.
Yeah.
This isn't a one-off. This is real.
Wow. Is there like I've heard a lot of YouTubers talk about how subscriber count now doesn't matter. It's all about the algorithm. It's all about the thumbnail and the title. I'm just wondering, do you agree with that? Should we not even consider YouTube subs anymore?
Well, rather than saying the algorithm, it has worked a lot better in my head to just throw the word algorithm in the garbage and instead say people whenever it comes up.
Sure, fair.
Is if I want, people are going to watch my video and people are going to be the ones that click on it. You know? The algorithm will put it in front of them, but it's always going to be that human action that gets them to go to it.
Of course.
And I have that same, there's a numbers bias with everything, right? If somebody has 100,000 subscribers, you're way more likely to click on that video. If a video has 1 million views, you're way more likely to click on the video just because of like personal biases with it.
Yeah.
But if it's something that you enjoy and it's something that's eye-catching, you're gonna click it anyway.
Was it hard for you to like understand or be a part of this, like, or yeah, like, was it hard for you to understand the YouTube meta when it comes to like having a like a good looking thumbnail, having like an interesting title? Like, is that still difficult for you before you upload a video, or do you kind of have it down? And do you already know like what to do with those?
Nowadays, it's not difficult at all. Nowadays, I have a very rigid structure that I do for the naming and for the thumbnails and planning. I have a good few thumbnails planned out for the future for the next set of videos that I'm going to do, just because I know what it should be like.
Yeah.
And it also just is important for me in that aspect that when you put up a video, when you throw it onto the YouTube page, you just sit there and you watch it for a week and you see if it's doing well or if it's doing badly.
Yeah.
And you throw some different thumbnails on. If it doesn't work, you change the title a little bit. Maybe it'll do better. Maybe it does worse. And then you just keep that in mind. And you do that for enough videos and then poof, you have a system.
Yeah. Are you constantly looking at like analytics, looking at retention rates, or do you kind of just ignore it and you just upload a video and go on with your day?
Analytics, yes. Retention rates, not so much. I like to, with story-driven content, I'm very, if somebody hops in to the video and they haven't seen any of the rest of it, they're a lot more likely to just not watch the full thing because they're confused or whatever with how things are going. But it's not too... Retention rate is important. I like to not dig myself a hole with it because I can aim for target retention rates just with how people watch my videos. If I want them to be watching for 20 minutes, then I make a 40-minute video. Like that's just how it works.
Yeah.
The people just watch on average half of it, and this is good enough for me.
Yeah.
But the other analytics I do spend a lot of time with, just watching the click-through rate for thumbnails and any general comments and that kind of stuff, just because I like to know if a video is good. Because if I don't know what of my videos are good and what are bad, then I'm just going to keep doing the same thing, and it's not going to be good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's a good point. What would you say would you say that you prefer to stream, or would you say that you prefer to, edit a YouTube video? Because I feel like they're two completely different experiences.
I love my stream chat. And that's not because they're in chat right now holding a scary weapon to my face.
Yeah.
This is not a threat. I'm not blinking twice. I love my stream chat. They are the only reason that I'm still sane. Going through the stupidly long grinds that I've had to go through with this series. Yeah. If I did not have people that I could just sit there and talk with for hours on end, then I would have lost it. But at the end of the day, the YouTube videos are my number one. Yeah. That's the thing that I have a passion for. That's the thing that I care about the most.
What one of the things that shocked me going through your oldest videos on your channel was this idea that everything, even from the beginning, seemed so professionally made, so professionally edited. And I was just wondering, did you have like a second channel prior to Rath Games where you learned how to edit, you learned the ropes of YouTube? Because it kind of just seemed like your channel just hit the ground running, and you don't see that too often.
So there's actually a good few videos that were on the Rath Games channel before that Cube World one that I have unlisted right now. And just because I didn't really like how they were anymore.
Sure.
But I've been wanting to do YouTube for my entire life, for over a decade without question. And I've just been constantly trying to make YouTube videos and do edits. I've had like so many little channels that I did for a week and then gave up on. And there's only one of those that still exists, and I will not say what it is ever.
Right.
But I'm very much self-taught with editing, but the majority of my baseline comes from a dear friend of mine, Gaelish, who has since passed on. It is truly a wonderful thing to be able to, every time that I'm making something all that much more better, every time I'm improving on whatever video editing I'm doing, it does feel like I still have that connection.
Yeah.
And it feels like I'm doing things right,
Yeah, I mean, it's just looking at your view count, it shows. Is there like an upcoming goal that you're like that's on your mind that you can't wait to reach, whether it's either a sub goal, a follow goal on Twitch, or like a view count? Is there a goal that you're most excited for?
50k subs on YouTube is what I'm aiming for by the end of this year. I said that to myself at the beginning of the year. I'm very confident I'll be able to hit it.
Yeah.
I just have to continue with the stuff that I've been doing and hope that things go well.
Yeah.
And with the current going rate of my videos, a safe goal that I have, just to get a little bit of dopamine off of it, is to have my first video that goes over 500k views. Limps will probably get there before the end of the year.
Yeah.
And if Limpsa doesn't get there, we have other videos that I'm going to be throwing around soon that may just get there.
I'm so excited. Uh, so, you know, I guess my next question for you is, what has been the reaction to, the success of your channel from the people who know you in real life? Like, is this something you even talk about with them?
Oh
Because,
yeah,
for me,
definitely.
like, I don't know what it is, but for me, I never really talk about my content or my channel with like my friends or families, but that's just mainly because they don't really care about 14. And
Mhm.
even if they did, try to watch some of my videos, I feel like they wouldn't get it. So because of that, I've never really felt the urge to try and push them into watching my stuff. But I'm just wondering, like, how have you seen it with your channel and your friends?
My mom watched most of my streams ever. She watches a lot of my streams.
Wow.
She was My mother was watching, and my father, on the big screen TV in their living room back at their house.
Wow.
Um, they were watching the stream where I beat Ultima,
Hmm.
and at the end of that stream, I turned it off. And as soon as the streaming was over, I started crying. And my mother called me on the phone the second that the stream was over, and she was also crying.
Aw.
So it was a very nice connection to have that. And
Yeah.
then my buddies back up home as well. I told them from the very first video. I showed them the cool Final Fantasy 14 video I made,
Hmm.
and they had no idea what was going on. But they watched it, and they gave me that perspective that they had no idea what was going on. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's helped me improve it a lot,
Hmm.
because in that first video, I went in and I wrote things without even realizing that the words that I was speaking are not words that people outside of 14 would get.
Sure.
So since then, I've been slowly but surely trying to improve that, and I'll explain the systems that I'm making use of, even if I've talked about it previously, so that
Hmm.
somebody that is new to the experience and has never played 14 can still come and watch the videos and still enjoy the story.
Yeah. You mentioned how you've always wanted to be a YouTuber, and I'm curious, what do you consider like the golden age of YouTube for you specifically? Because for me, it was the Smosh era, the Ray William Johnson era. Like that's what I considered like the golden years of YouTube. But that's just because that's when I was watching that content. But for you, like, what do
Hmm.
you consider like the golden like age or era of YouTube?
I guess it's kind of a weird one,
Hmm.
because a half of it, I have one answer that I know is for nostalgia, and I have one answer that's more for the creative side.
Mm-hmm.
And for the nostalgia side, the golden age and the thing that drove me to be a YouTube creator was the back in the good old days with Paperbat VG playing Minecraft, and his Minecraft the movie 10 in the Cave of Supercoblas.
Hmm.
That was a masterpiece. Uh, Back when Video Game Donkey was first making videos,
Yep.
and back towards the
Legend.
the Yogs cast with Shadow of Israfel and all that stuff. That was a
Mm.
big period that made me want to do it.
Yeah.
And then really I consider current day to be the golden age of YouTube for me
Really?
personally, on the creative sense,
Mm.
because I see a lot less of the things that I used to hate.
Which
I see
is.
a lot less of the very just mishmashed whatever, put this up and people will watch it because they're subscribed to my channel.
Hmm.
And I see a lot more of that story driven and quality content that is focused around actually giving you the best possible viewing experience
Yeah.
over the course of the entire time that you're there,
Hmm.
instead, and accepting that I am going to be am I going to be fighting to be your first monitor content or second monitor content, and then fitting themselves into that space,
Hmm.
but mostly on the storytelling angle and the way that people are constantly pushing the boundaries of how to play video games.
Yeah. 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 That's true. Um. Did you expect the first solo video to explode as much as it did? Like as you were editing, did you think, "Oh, I have a masterpiece on my hands," or did it kind of shock you when everything kind of just went viral?
So when I was editing the Cube World video,
Okay.
long time ago, when I was making that one was my magnum opus at the time.
Mm.
That one, for every second that I was working on that video, that felt like the peak.
Yeah.
That felt like this is me putting my everything into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt the same with the first solo only video,
Mm-hmm.
but you never really expect it.
Yeah.
I made it for me. I made it for the desire that maybe it would succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And I made it so that at the very least I can have a fun little story that I can remember.
Yeah. Do you remember like what your subscriber count was when you uploaded that video?
200.
Oh,
It was actually
wow.
either 201 or 198.
That is
And
crazy.
that amount of subscribers is the amount of subscribers that remained subscribed after the Cube World video
Wow.
from however many years ago that was.
Did you like did you how did you like did you promote the video in it? Like did you upload it to Reddit and it went viral,
Nope.
or like was it all just sort of natural?
It was all just natural off YouTube.
Wow. That's impressive.
You put the video up, and the first day,
Mhm.
I can get the exact numbers, but at least from the top of my head,
Yeah.
the first day it was 56 views.
Mhm.
And that was big for me. That was success. That was enough people had seen it that I was happy and I was satisfied.
Mhm.
And I went to sleep and I woke up the next day and it was 1,300 views.
Wow.
And that blew my mind. And then it just
Yeah.
kept going.
Yeah. What do you now being at like 26K, what do you consider a successful video?
That's a good question. And a very hard one.
Yeah.
A successful video, it also depends on what it is,
Mhm.
right? The most recent video I made was Chat Plays Final Fantasy 14,
Yeah.
right? I just gave my Twitch chat and YouTube chat the reins, and I just sat back and did a bunch of silly stuff for a while.
Mhm.
For that one, for me, I didn't have a measure of success. I just wanted to make the video.
Mhm.
I said, okay, I want an April Fool's video. This is going to be fun. Just do it.
Yeah.
For the solo videos, I do have a solid measure of success because it is constant growth and it is constantly doing more and more. Right now, in a 2 or 3 week period, if a solo video doesn't reach 50K, it's technically a failure.
Wow.
But I mean, not a failure as in like I hated the thing, but a failure as in like something did not go right here. I need to rewatch this video 5 times to understand what part of this is terrible.
Yeah.
That is killing retention. That's killing maybe it's the thumbnail and it doesn't get good click through. Maybe it's the whatever. But.
Yeah, the thumbnail thing, like that's still for me my biggest hurdle whenever it comes to making a video, because I feel like now thumbnail is probably 50% of the battle. Like you could have the best video of all time, but if it doesn't have an interesting thumbnail, then it's almost dead on the water.
I would say that you're underselling it even.
Really?
When I go to make these videos, the thumbnail and the title are 80-90% of the whole thing.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have a good thumbnail, if it doesn't have a good title, nobody clicks it. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
That's the life that we live. All of the thumbnails that I did not have that really rigid structure for, I can see it in those videos and I can see how badly they did. It's very, very easy.
Someone in the chat said thumbnail is a door boss.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, did you ever have any like insecurities with doing voiceovers in your videos? Because like for me, that was one of the biggest obstacles that I had to overcome when it comes to making videos. It's because I still cringe when I hear the sound of my voice like during video editing, because I always feel like I'm sort of pretending that I'm being a voice actor, and I'm just wondering, did you ever go through that period where you just couldn't stand the sound of your voice, or did it kind of
Oh, yeah.
all just come natural to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I back when I was 13 or 14, I hated the sound of my voice so much that I just refused to do anything with it.
Yeah.
Um, I wouldn't watch back the videos. I would just record them and then I would post them and then that was it. When you listen to your voice for hundreds and hundreds of hours, you almost start to get Stockholmed into it.
Yeah.
I like hearing the sound of my voice now.
You are not the first person to tell me that.
Go back.
You are not the first person to tell me that.
I will legitimately just go back and watch one of my old streams to re-experience a thing that happened and hear my voice during it. I'll go back and I rewatch my videos because I make these videos for me to enjoy. If I can't love this video to death, then it's not worth uploading.
Yeah.
So I constantly go back and rewatch my vids.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Do you have a favorite? Okay, so which Realm Reborn dungeon would you say is now your favorite, and which do you never want to see ever again now that you've gone through this solo experience?
I hate all of them. All right, from the lens of doing it as solo, fine, because really good dungeons otherwise, but it's just never the same. I have a bias in that as well, that Aurum Vale needs to be deleted from this video game because another video I did at some point was speedrunning a dungeon, and Aurum Vale was the dungeon that I speedran.
Yeah,
and you get to a point when you're doing a dungeon for the 30th time, and I'm running past the second boss, and it is completely RNG.
Yeah.
If the spiders after that second boss are turned away from me, I get a world record. If those spiders are facing towards me, the run is over. And they never face away. They never face away. And so, Aurum Vale can please not exist anymore. And I think for enjoyable dungeons, it's kind of hard to pick one. But from a Realm Reborn specifically, maybe... either Zemail Darkhold.
Oh.
Or... there's one other. Hold on. Let me pull up my dungeon list. I can't think of it.
Yeah. I thought you were going to blow my mind and say Brave Flock's Longstop.
Oh, no, please. Good. God.
Yeah. I think
either Aurum Vale or Sastasha Hard. Those are pretty good ones. Brave Flock's Longstop is... me and the many other people that are doing the solo challenge have a list. And this list consists of every dungeon that a solo gets PTSD from. And the very first item on that list is Brave Flock's Longstop.
Yeah.
Because the very first boss in that dungeon, the Great Yellow Pelican, will just choose that you die. And there's nothing you could do about it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. I will say I do appreciate that you put them all together into like a 4-hour video, because that's what I watched to go like make this entire podcast. So that was really helpful. Please continue to do that with every series. So I have talked to a lot of creators doing this podcast, and it seems like for the most part, a lot of them are pretty hesitant with making non-14 videos. But you were kind of the opposite, because you started making non-14 videos, and then you started making your solo stuff, and that just sort of blew up. And I'm just wondering, do you feel reluctant to make non-14 videos? Do you ever feel like you're you're put in a box where you need to make 14 videos, or how do you see that?
Not really. It's more so right now for me that I just want to make 14 videos. 14 videos are, I have so many things that I still want to do with 14 before I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
But I'm very comfortable in the space that I'm at with, maybe I can't convince everyone, but in the general sense, I bring people in for storytelling. I bring people in for seeing me do stupid challenges. And that can move out wherever I need it.
Yeah.
It's more of just, it's going to be a slow build up to get back to the numbers that I have if I'm ever doing something that isn't 14. But that's okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Can we ever expect another Silver Linings video?
I have one Silver Lining video that I have to do.
Yeah.
It is a video that has to be made. I'm probably going to do that. I don't know when, but just over the course of a week, I'll go make that and then post that video up, and then that'll probably be the last I ever touch Silver Lining, but who knows?
Okay. And then, this is, I think, the most important question of this entire interview. What are your thoughts on pineapple on pizza?
It was great talking to you. And thank you for inviting me onto the podcast.
Of course, anytime.
Yeah. Have a I don't know if I should tell you to have a good day. I feel like you don't deserve it.
Right.
That's my thoughts.
Thank you for everybody in chat. Thank you, Rath Games, for coming on to the podcast. This has been Chocobo Radio.
It's good. Wow.
Without, I guess really what I want to just ask you is, what do you have going on, like for the rest of the year for your channel? Like, what are your future plans for the channel? Anything that your fans can expect to see coming up in the future? What do you got going on?
I've got a lot more solo as always. And I have one challenge, a one-off challenge video that has taken me about 4 or 5 months now to complete.
Yeah.
And I have just finished it, the actual challenge itself. I think I've just finished it like today or tomorrow if I ever actually log in to do it. That will be a fun video. I don't know when I'm going to put that up, but that'd be cool. Yeah. And then just a lot more. I will continue with the solo series and have my fun little one-off challenges alongside it, and then who knows where we go from there.
Awesome. All right, where can people find you?
I don't know. You just come to my house, I guess. I make some food. Everybody can come hang out.
Yeah.
I am Rath Games on Twitter and on Twitch. And if you go to YouTube and you type / at Rath Games, I think maybe that might be it. I can't remember. That's it. That's all my spots. I could say that I'm on Blue Sky, but I never really use it. I always forget it exists.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, that's a good one. Okay, bye.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Twitch chat. I am Alpaca, and this has been Chocobo Radio Podcast.